Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome in to another episode of Vision Pros Live. And I'm celebrating having reached over 2,000 episodes. I cannot believe that. What a surreal feeling. And I'm building out some optimizations for the show with the team, as inspired by the team, actually. That is one of the greatest resources and assets and life contributions that I've had is having team members who help me build things and inspire me to do so well. So we're constantly working in optimization, and the future for podcasting is super bright. I do call our industry an amateur industry, and that's not an insult, that's a reality. The reality is anybody can purchase a $45 microphone. Anybody can purchase a $60 camera. Anybody can use anything. They can use Facebook Live and call it a podcast. They don't have to have something official. That's exactly what I did in my first episode. And so there's so many ways you can build out, and we're in a top 5% global ranking right now, and we don't even focus very much on that reality. We probably should be north of 2%. But my focus is on making sure that the experience is as high quality as possible for my guests, for my team as well. And I want to make sure that everything that we're doing continues to get optimized. So right now, I'm doing that with ChatGPT. One of the greatest opportunities we just came across as we were optimizing was when people book to be on our show. You just go to visionproslive.com, by the way. If you're a visionary and you want to be with us, click on the button that says Be Our Guest. You'll go to a landing page where it has our trailer and tells you about the experience. Then when you click to book, you're going to actually book your appointment. And this is designed as a starter stage. We're not trying to exclude and only have the best visionaries. That's for the beyourbestshow.com. But for here, we're inviting anybody to come on and share what your vision is to help the world. And we do have our own ways of pre-qualifying and saying, this isn't going to be a good fit for us, or we don't want to actually move forward to this episode. You do got to qualify, but in general, we do want to inspire people to pursue their dreams. And it's really fun to be the one who found somebody first. So with all that said, as soon as people book, they would end up on a confirmation page. And I noticed today when we were looking at that it said we were top 10% global. And I was like, uh-oh, we've been in top 5% for a long time. And I noticed it said we had 17,000 downloads. And I was like, well, wait a second, we're over 44,000 downloads now. And there was other elements of it that I realized, like, you know what? Rather than just make these copy tweaks, it's probably time that we upgrade this experience. So I started to work with ChatGPT, and I started to ask it about, okay, we have what we consider the customer journey mapping. It's not a customer, but it's somebody who's come in our show. We need to take care of them. So the guest, but you call it customer journey mapping. Where are they at in this process? Okay, they're at the process of having booked. What is it that we can do to best serve them in this moment? What is it that they could use? And it didn't do a very good job of thinking through that, which is surprising. But I combined that with, okay, now think through our principles of intrigue, attract, and inspire before inviting. And now they've been invited and they are accepting the invitation. What does a guest want to have right after that experience? Do they want to have access to the studio to see and make sure their equipment's good? Do they want a checklist of things to prepare for? Um, they probably don't want to go and subscribe to our app, to our channel and our show to get notifications for themselves, but they probably do want to expand their own audience. And one of the best ways to expand their own audience is to realize that, wow, when they subscribe, it tells the algorithm, it gives a little bitty juice to YouTube or wherever else they subscribe, that people really like this thing. And so people like you will end up going and subscribing too. They'll get recommended. The show gets recommended to people like you. So it does actually increase your distribution. And at the end of the day, that's the hidden secret about podcasting. Most podcasters have not learned hardly anything in podcast guests about distribution and how distribution works. And the neat thing is, once you have your eyes open to it, it's like now you know it forever. So it's not like I know some secret that it's like, oh, Jackson has this wisdom nobody else does. No, there's people who do, but most people don't have it. So the truth, just like a TV show before it airs, it has trailers and announcements. It has posters. It has all sorts of things to get people to want to go to it. The problem with podcasting is if you don't promote your episode in advance, then it's kind of like inviting people to a fireworks show the moment the fireworks show starts. They're not going to arrive until after the grand finale. And then it's too late. And then it's like over. And it's like, who cares? And I don't want to see a bunch of smoke in the air. I want to see the real thing. And so it's so important to learn about it. So I said, you know what? Oh, cool. We've incorporated Alfred into firstclassbusiness.io. Alfred is our GPT that we designed to help businesses with basic business strategy for free. And so now I'm incorporating Alfred into the confirmation page and ultimately providing this type of education, but not in a condescending fashion. We want to provide in a way where people kind of discover it and feel empowered and know that like we're not trying to babysit people long. We're just trying to help people see. And when people have a discovery and kind of a gamification experience, they tend to appreciate these things more. So right now, I'm going to share with you my screen of, and so I took all that and I went back to ChatGPT and I said, okay, it's time to overhaul this landing page and not just the copy this time. What we're going to do, we're going to create one of our interactive widgets the way that we've done this with websites. And here are some of the interactive widgets that you've built for us. And we need to turn this page into one of those experiences. And so let's take a look and see what ChatGPT was able to build for me. And it took ChatGPT about 5 minutes to finish this process off. And I might abandon it and go over to Gemini and use Gemini because Gemini is typically better at this, by the way. But man, something just tells me to keep using ChatGPT. So I do. All right. So you know what? I shared the wrong tab. Let me go back. I'm going to share the whole screen on this as well. All right. Let's go to share the whole screen. And we're going to go over to the actual page that was built. And it's quite clunky. You can see that our header is a little bit clunky. Our header still has our old first class business logo on it. It needs a new one. So we're going to get that out of the way. You can see that the overlapping banner here at the bottom, let me hide the StreamYard one. It's got this teal line behind it, and you can't really see this button, but this is a pretty darn amount of awesome progress for a first iteration. And the copy is kind of garbage. There's all sorts of little copy mistakes on here from having the word, where is it? And now I'm overlooking all of the glaring like simple right here. Like, why? This information down here, not necessary. This button doesn't really make sense. It's for the first class business branding instead of the Vision Pros branding. This button has no reason whatsoever to open and close. Oh, it's a network thing. It's like, why does it even say that? And then the copy is just horrendous. And part of that is because of how much I asked ChatGPT to do at once. Okay, cool. So it's creating an interactive experience. People can put their information in to get copy built for themselves without having to do too much. But again, it's just trying to do way too much. There's too many call to actions. The image didn't come through right. There's a lot of redundancy built into it. And so I just basically went back to ChatGPT and I complained about all that. And I complained about it in as nice of a way as I could on a Friday night. Or like, I really want to just get this done. And you can see that it says stop right here. It's still working through building. Hopefully it is. Sometimes it gets caught up and then doesn't move forward. And sometimes it has to do probably with the amount that I'm doing my computer and the RAM, not necessarily the let's see here, the internet, but sometimes it has to do with the internet. The good news is today I'm hardwired, so it shouldn't be an internet issue. Um, all right, so it's getting down to the bottom. I don't want to rush it though. I have a feeling like when you get to the bottom, if you're like trying to rush it forward, you're just asking it to like struggle to load more. So we'll just wait patiently for that. And in the meantime, we'll talk more about the future of podcasting. So again, we've seen. Let's go back over and just take a quick look. What are we doing now that people are booking their show? We're going to be training them on, hey, here's how to get ready. And you can notice how it's like created this nifty bar. What's going to take that out on the next one? I don't like that. I want the bar in there. So I'll have to ask for it to add it back in because I think it's really neat to show people this is what you're capable of creating these days, even as a non-coder. You can create things like this for your own customer experience. And so again, these little buttons, they look all funky because they're all different sizes and that kind of messes the UI. The user interface and the user experience then gets diluted. And then there's this little outline that exists that shouldn't when you actually select it. So those things can be very distracting. In the copy, it says, test your studio setup. Yeah, I get that, but I couldn't even read that with how much wording is on the screen. This is camera, mic, lighting, and connection. Like it's a horrible sentence. It's not a sentence. And so that's awkward. And then it says it removes friction and raises confidence immediately. It's like, okay, we don't really need to like make awkward statements like that. Like, okay, yes, checking your camera, checking your mic, getting your lighting correct, and making sure your connection's stable will remove friction and it will raise the confidence that you feel immediately in yourself. But like trying to deliver it in this way that's not how things are done. So AI still has a long way to go to know how to really articulate what it is we're looking for. And I don't even know how to explain that. That's just like it's just dumb. It's just kind of dumb right now. It's very rudimentary and basic. So it's like a prodigy child that understands how to be smart, but doesn't quite know how to intellectually and socially pull it all together. That's what I feel like AI is at right now. So with our little AI child, we're going to continue to give it some grace, and all we have to do is optimize it. So let's go back and talk again about the future of podcasting. So one of the great features of podcasting, let's tie it first to some of the present of podcasting that most people aren't taking advantage of. Alex Sanfilippo, Alex Sanfilippo, Alex Sanfilippo, and Podmatch. Podmatch is like the best thing ever for interviewers and interviewees of podcasts. It's like a dating service for podcast guests and hosts that allows us to connect super, super easily. I pay like $60 a month, but I also make more than $60 a month most of the time. This month we made like 40, but last month we made like 230 or something. And what they do is they actually reward you for the amount of episodes that you fulfill. And so if you're active on there, proactively booking as a guest and becoming a guest and fulfilling on that, and then of course being a host, they're paying you for it. It's so neat. So it's a software that pays for itself, and it takes care of my bookings. And my guests are so high quality through that network compared to other channels. And so again, I like meeting people in other places too, but it is really, really nice to be in a network that is a small pay to play fee in order to make sure I'm connecting with some of the best leaders. And so I highly recommend checking out and using Podmatch. Um, Joe Rogan last year was able to not just sign a deal that put him at a, what was it? I don't remember how much the deal was. I hope you do. Quarter of a billion, I believe, for his podcast to be on Spotify, or to break away from Spotify. One of the two. You can look up the details, but like, whoa, that made huge, huge strides and noise for us. And when President Trump decided to go on a podcast, uh, when the world leader decides to go on podcasts, and then like, of course, lots of other people using it like that, that put it on an entire new scale of verified authority, credibility. And I'm not saying that most of you would agree that politicians are the highest source of authority and credibility, but awareness, yes, they are talked about globally at all levels. And so what it did was it put podcasting in the mainstream media, and really is now challenging mainstream media. I have a feeling that that train is just going to continue to set course. We're on a downhill slope now for success. And so if you're in the spirits of wanting to move forward with the podcast, then know that, is it a financially feasible opportunity that could grow economically? 100%. Like 100%. This is one of those areas where it's kind of like jumping into, I think it's still like jumping into the early days of YouTube. The challenge though is business is still hard. It's still complicated to win. That's not going to change. There's still so much to do to make sure that you do this well. So if you're just doing it for the money, that's not going to work out too well. And if you're doing it without a monetization strategy and you're like, I don't care about the money, well, the money's not going to care about you either. I made that mistake for 10 plus years of business. I got into business because I wanted to help people. And I said I didn't care about the money. Like I said, the money didn't care about me. You've got to be a wise steward in this process as well. So one of the other futures with podcasting is, the neat thing is, people like me are building tools like Alpha GPT, where you can go in and learn for free strategy at a level that, like, can't compare with anything that I had growing up as a business owner. You have tools and clarity and resources available for you that, the nice thing is, you can crash and burn your ship over and over faster than ever. And you're going to. That's just part of the entrepreneur phase, especially as an entrepreneur, especially if you're young and new to this stuff. It's like, okay, you're going to get they say the wool pulled over your eyes. You're going to see the smoke and mirrors so many times. You're going to bite the dust many times until you grow up and realize, like, dang, I need actual strategists who are going to truly care about me and who are going to support me. And I'm going to lean into mentors who are loving, patient, persistent, consistent, and reliable. It is very hard to find mentors like that. And most of you don't believe me. You're like, well, no. All these gurus are doing. No, they're not. Good luck. 96% of businesses lose within 10 years. 4% survive. And that's not success. The successful ones, and you have to divide the successful ones into which ones did it ethically and which ones didn't. And most of us accidentally make unethical mistakes too. And so do we repent of those? Right? Do we realize, like, oh dang, I need to fix that. I fired my first 3 designers, blamed them, realized, oh wow, when you're pointing fingers at other people, it's always 3 fingers pointing back at you. There's lessons we learn along the way too. And sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, sometimes they're ugly. But I think the future of podcasting is going to be greatly stabilized by the current iterations of AI and people opening their eyes to, okay, wow, I can get hoodwinked far easier than I thought. And I can get tricked into self assuredness or a sense of confidence around something that's not actually going to work. And for a little while, that will create a little bit of hopelessness and despair for us. But as human beings, are pretty resilient and we bounce back. And again, if you can combine the superpowers of using things like AI with getting the right types of mentors and saying, you know what, I can help people at scale better than I could before. Because now I can tell the young and the ignorant who come to me like, hey, look, don't take my word for it. Just please do me a favor before we talk. Go to ChatGPT. You got a great plan. Give it to ChatGPT and say, please poke holes in this for me. What am I missing? If I want to have the best success possible, if I want to create a secure path for the future, what am I overlooking? And then they can go have that conversation with ChatGPT. I don't have to be the bad guy anymore. It is a really, really wonderful feeling. And so I am so grateful for AI. And it helps me from coming across as like, again, I don't want to be snobbish. I just don't want people to fail. It really sucks to one, pop people's balloon. It really sucks to tell people I don't think this is going to work. It's really hard to tell people like your copy's not very good. And it's not because I want to hurt them; it's because I want to help them. But AI is a breath of fresh air to help me do that in a way that's not so jarring. All right, let's go see if that coding's done. I hope it is. I don't like how long it takes. Chat, you gotta win me back over, my friend. So let's go over here and see. We're back over, and it's still going. What's going on? Oh, maybe it got stuck. Yep. Oh, that's why. It did get stuck. Bummer. You got stuck. Stuck. Please try again. Okay. So we'll have to see that in just a minute. But let's keep talking. We got so many more things to talk. Oh, you know what? I gotta refresh. Let's try that. All right, let's refresh it. And once we refresh it, maybe back on and it'd be really cool if it learned how to self recovery. That would be amazing. Did it? Did it? Did it? I don't think it did. I don't trust it. You know what? Let's try it though. Let's see if it did. Um, let's just see if it worked. All right, copy. That would be amazing. That made me so happy. Gotta go back over here to where we built this. So look how easy this is. I don't have to know how to code. I do. I mean, my team had to set this part up, or I did some. I don't know. One of us did it back in the day. But I click on the little place where the code is. I click on Open Code Editor. All right, and then I'm gonna click on this. Control A, Control V. Oh yeah, that definitely got stuck. Okay, so let's just see what it does though. Why not? And I saved it. Now I'm gonna go save it here. I'm gonna refresh that page, and you're gonna see how broken it is. What? All right, refresh. Okay, so it started. It started to get after it, but yeah, you can tell that it's more broken now. So let's go back over and say you got stuck. Please try again. And what does it say? I just got to go into thinking mode because this is the mode I found that it's best to build in. Oh, I understand. I'll rebuild the page with tighter, more human. Okay, whatever. So now it's still thinking, refining the code base. I actually kind of enjoy reading these sometimes because one time I was using the deep research mode and I was live about this, and the system decided to try to hack. I think it was Michael Stelzner, the social media examiner founder's YouTube account on my behalf. And I was like, I did not ask it to do this. I was asking for data, but I didn't ask it to do that. I was like, well, that's crazy. So yes, these systems can go a little bit AWOL with what they do. Let me get back over here. Okay, so future podcasting as well. Um, one of the big opportunities with podcasting, I'll stick with the monetization aspect because while I do believe in the scripture that money is the root of all evil. Money is not the root of all. The love of money is the root of all evil. Money is not the root of all evil. It is the love of it. But we're also taught to be wise stewards. And so part of being a wise steward is understanding how money works and being confident with it and being comfortable with it and being ready to set plans up to be able to take care of it. Imagine me telling God, I want to help your children and do good things in this world, but I don't care about your resource. I'm not going to be responsible with it. I'm not going to learn how to take care of it. I'm not going to learn how to multiply it. Like, why would he empower me with the resource if that's my attitude towards it? Not an attitude for success. So if I want to be able to create and cultivate what's necessary, that I need to be more responsible with my finances. And part of that is creating financial plans. So on the podcasting side, one, I'm big into the Alex Hermosi plan, and I've got a pretty stable business model with first class business. So I try not to worry about forcing the monetization through our podcast. You can notice I've got some sponsors up here. My sponsors, I don't pitch them on being sponsors. In fact, I actually give the sponsorships to clients that I love. So in this case, shout out to Jennifer Reed of Practice Makes Permanent. She launched her business about a year before started working with us, and then she decided to start working. She was referred to us by a friend. No, she was referred to us by a client who became a client through our Oportunidades Latinas podcast, our Spanish podcast. His name is Dr. Fernando Marengo. And him and I have a mastermind that we run together as well on Fridays now. Every Friday, Conecta con Propósito, connect with purpose, to help other Latinos with their businesses. So that relationship has blossomed into a phenomenal referral partnership with Jennifer Reed. And she's done an excellent job of building out her brand, PMP, EQ Plus. And then there's Journey to Wellness. That's with Dr. Shannon and Dr. Justin Pierce. They got just over 250,000 followers. Everybody that I know that has a health problem, I refer to Dr. Shannon. I have referred her 3 people successfully over the years. All 3 of them absolutely raved. There are people who did not know what to do. They did not have solutions to their health problems. I don't understand it all. I'm not going to pretend to understand the mumbo jumbo. I like the movie The Saint a lot. And every single one of them absolutely loved their experience and was able to resolve their health challenges that were not resolvable outside of Shannon. So, yeah, Dr. Shannon, Journey to Wellness, very happy that we started working together a few months ago. And they're rebranding to, as of today, drshannon.com. I'm very excited about the process of being able to spearhead that with a team. So anyway, those sponsors right there. My sponsors, I do it as a means of gifting to them. And one of the things that we're building out slowly based on our priorities, because again, we make money through our other business. But for those of you who may want to run your podcast with sponsorships, that's okay. And you can, it's not only okay, I highly recommend and encourage it. You just need to build the assets out for it. And most people think that you have to have a certain amount of views, and you have to have a certain amount of distribution, and you have to have these vanity metrics. And no, you don't. What you need is supply and demand. Supply and demand is 100% controllable and in your favor. Because if you've only got 2 spots up here, then if somebody wants to pay $5 for spot 1 and somebody wants to pay $5 for spot 2, and you get somebody else who comes along later who wants one of those 2 spots, well, they can have it because you don't have it. But if they want to pay more than the other 2, then you create what's called a bidding war and you create an auction process. This is exactly what Facebook and Google do with ads. You just can't see it, but it's all based on an auction process. Who's willing to pay the most amount to be able to get that ad in front of this audience? And you don't need a big audience either. For a bank, for instance, they just need one person to buy a house, to take out a mortgage, to make over 6 figures, really, these days, freaking $500,000. Oh my goodness. So, how much is it worth for a bank to be here on my show? A ton of freaking money. But I'm not doing this for the sake of the money. The money is a byproduct of the quality of what we're building here at First Class Business and Vision Pros Life. And so, will I do that? Oh yeah, you better believe I will. But John Lee Dumas is a great example of this. He makes over $200,000 a month typically. And where does 90% of his revenue come from? Advertising sponsorships. And people would say that people wouldn't advertise with him if it wasn't for the reach that he has. I don't think that's true. I do know that most people would say that's true, but it's kind of like the same people who will tell you that, oh no, I never saw that billboard. That billboard didn't have any influence on me whatsoever. Like, you don't know. You cannot consciously know. There's no way to know how imperative or how important that billboard was in your decision to actually buy or go to that place. And so in some cases, people probably never even saw it, never even knew it existed, subconsciously too. In other cases, it may have been the driving factor that drove somebody to make the purchase or move forward, whatever the commitment is. So back to your podcast opportunity and sponsorships, the real ability to sell the sponsorship depends on your ability to connect your value with your audience. And what really is at the core of that, as Les Brown would say, is stories sell and facts tell. So become a good storyteller because that will help you sell the sponsorship. But even better yet, become interested and actually listen to the person who may want that sponsorship. If you learn to ask the right questions and help them realize that them connecting with your audience, for instance, me talking to a bank, hey, you might want to consider being a sponsor of Vision Pros Live. But I would love to ask you, um, do you have nationwide offers for one? Because how important, how helpful would it be to connect with visionary leaders who are legacy driven, that live in most 90% of them live in America, and they they're pretty influenced by their direct relationship with me. Plus, there's an audience of third party individuals who are always watching and considering it. But how helpful would it be? Well, how much money would you make if just one of my 2,000 guests decided to get their mortgage with you? Oh, well, that would actually bring in about $200,000. Um, okay. So that bringing about $200,000. If we were to become proactive endorsers for the bank, we're to actually like talk to people, about what you do and how you do it and why we wanted to connect with you guys on this. And, do you have any unfair advantages, any offers that would make sense for them that would help it be natural for me to talk about your bank while I'm engaging with them? Well, yeah, no, of course we've got this and that. Okay. And you have a landing page, because most of our people are digital. So they're going to want to see a page and it should be an easy sign up process. And if you don't, would you be able to put one together, or could we guide your website team on how to create one of the most optimized landing pages possible? We've done this for many people in the industry. And so it'd be a privilege of ours to help with that process. Yeah, no, that'd be great. We can do that too. And do you guys have B-roll and like footage that we can use, and commercial that we can also play during segments? Because that would also be a helpful way to make sure you get the brand awareness in as well. I can ask all the right questions, and you can also just take this episode and give it to ChatGPT and be like, "Can you create questions like this for me for my podcast so that I can create sponsorships and follow what Jackson's doing? And can you create a contract for me around?" Like, there's so many things, guys. It's crazy what we're empowered with these days. I wish I had this 15 years ago. Um, anyway, so yes, that's all part of the future. So all of that would lead me to an awesome opportunity to say, well, then, if that's all the case, I'm willing to do my part. How much would you be willing to pay to be a sponsor? And again, I don't want to take all the risk on myself and hope that you pay me in the back end. So would you be willing to pay a certain amount up front, knowing that I'm gonna do my best to try to get you customers as soon as possible? Because I think your bank seems awesome. Well, yeah, no, we put $5,000 into it, and we put a revenue share on any commission earned or whatever, maybe 3%. I don't know what they would offer, but we would just go back and forth and have a negotiation, a healthy dialogue about what's possible with that. And now I've gone from a $5 and a $5, which again is all theory. You can do this, but to an actual bank sponsoring. And now when it's time to create a new opportunity for a new brand, I let them know that I've got one sponsorship at $5 and one at, if I can reveal it, $5,000. And if you want to be a sponsor, I'd be happy to include you. But there are reasons why people want to do this with us, because we know how to connect people. And I think you can see the snowball effect of just what's possible with that. And if you line up a bunch of banks, you can really do this. I did this with a real estate group in San Antonio, and we lined them up in the hallway. And these ladies were ball busters, man. They knew how to sell, and so I created the program and the pitch deck for them, and all this data that was necessary, and the urgency and the scarcity baked into it. And they sold $250,000 of sponsorships for a program that still hadn't launched and that didn't have an existing reputation really in the market within 2 weeks. It was an amazing experience, and yeah, it's just a matter of planning. And so let's go take a look at where we're at with this process. Let's go see the future of the Vision Pros Live podcast. Hopefully it didn't stall out this time. We'll see. All right, so this is done. Woo! All right, I'm really excited. And the last code was 1,600 lines, which is cool because it used to cap out around 1,400. So it seems, and it did a pretty darn good job of creating the initial phase. I'm spoiled because we're way ahead of the curve on building this stuff. There we go. Now it's only okay, cool. So I cut out all the Spanish content, not because I don't want to serve the Spanish community, because it's not relevant for this particular project. And I cut out because it's harder to render the code. It takes twice as long when it has to code twice as much. And so I can always add that back in if I want to. And I think it's great for most products and services that we do. We create the dual Spanish and English versions because it's classy and it's good to serve. So let's take a look. All right. So now I've done that. Open the page again. I'm gonna close this one. We already saw what looks like broken. And I still don't like the way it looks, but okay, cool. So it's not overlap. Let me see. Accept all. All right. All right. Vision Pros Live guest kit. Good. That's much better. I don't like the little button here. I think it's awkward. It's like, why? And then YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Studio. Oh, cool. It's got the links over here. So I don't like the transparent nature of that because it looks funny with our background. We can make some changes to that, but you're confirmed. This page keeps it simple. Oh no. So I botched the copy again. Show up looking and sounding great, then give your episode a clean promotional push before it drops. Okay, so that's an easy copy fix. Ready. Quick prep, clean. Okay, so yeah, it should have kept the progress bar because now it's really confusing with the check marks here. But let's say Alfred, what's the key to podcast success distribution? Most guests unintentionally underperform because they never hear this about distribution. So I got to fix that copy. Promote beforehand, just like TV series. How to hook an audience and how to. Okay, so the copy reads horribly. That's my fault at this point. But that's going to be easy to fix. Use Alfred to turn this interview into momentum. Post, email copy, story prompts, and a simple rollout you can actually follow. Open Alfred, copy all 4 prompts. Oh, that's frustrating. Okay, no. I don't like the layout anymore, but let's see here. Let's try it. Let's play with it. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here and judging a little bit too harshly. So, my name is Jackson. My episode topic is the 7 avatars. Oh, cool. I see it loading down here. Release date. We don't know the release date. TBD. Your main link, www.firstclassbusiness.io. Okay. So we got that here. Stored. Okay. Releases to be releases. All right. So they might have to come up with something more creative there, but let's do a couple of things here. Copy all 4 prompts. Let's see if that works. I'm going to open up Notepad. Boom. Sweet. Post coming soon, 24 to 70 hours before. So it's telling you when to put it. I'm excited to share that I'm guesting on Vision Pros Live. We're talking about the 7 avatars of business. If you've been working on growth, leadership, or building something real, this one will be worth your time. Drops, TBD, link, firstclassbusiness.io. Post, simple hook question. Quick question for businesses and leaders. What's the biggest thing holding you back right now in the 7 avatar? Huh? That doesn't work. I'm discussing this on Vision Pros Live, and I'd love to pull real questions. Okay, get it. I understand what it's trying to do there. Episode drops TBD. Okay, so I have to figure something out better for that too. Subject, I'm on Vision Pros Live. Hey everyone, I'm excited to share that I'm guessing Vision Pros Live to talk about the 7 avatars of business. If you want the episode when it drops, here's the link, firstclassbusiness.io. I'm not sure why it's trying to pull those 2 things together. It releases TBD. Jackson. Frame 1 for story. I'm recording a Vision Pros Live episode about the 7 avatars of business. Frame 2. Interesting. If you could ask one question about the 7 avatars of business, what would it be? Yeah, I know people would respond, what are the 7 avatars? Okay. All right. I'm cool with that. That's good progress. I can work with that to make it even more snazzy. And it makes no sense to have this button down here. And there as well. Okay, and open Alfred, and that is not the Alfred picture. I don't know what that is a picture of, but it's inappropriate. It offends me. All right, so over here, and it does take us to Alfred. So cool. It did implement that link, and let's see if it implemented the other links well. YouTube, yes, it did. YouTube's correct. We don't have to click on the others. We can just look in the bottom left corner. Apple Podcast, perfect. Spotify, perfect. studio, and we can ask it to make these even like the color of those entities or icons for the entities. That way it's easier to see. I really am glad that I invested the time today to pull this together because what we're doing is we're separating ourselves in the market by positioning ourselves as forward thinking podcasters. We're leading the industry. We're saying, you know what? We're not going to wait for everybody else to make cool things. We're going to make cool things and we're going to continue to upgrade and we're going to continue to make things even better. So those are big ones. Another big one for those of you who are still listening, piece of gold. Let's go take a look at what we've recently implemented into Vision Pros Live, and we are in the process of creating this still. So um, one of the hardest things for me to learn in life was that it's better to have progress than be perfect. I was a perfectionist, and I've learned to overcome that, but I've also gone to the extreme end of progress. And so, for instance, on our website, Michael Neal, man, Dr. Michael Neal, I like you, but you have had way too much time on my website. We didn't abandon the website, but we stopped doing the live streaming shows for a while. And you can see we're half a year behind on putting content on the website. And that's not good. That's not just a progress is better than perfect. That's like a Jackson. You really messed that up. But this best guest thing. So we're going to skip that for now because that's going to be updated next week, by the way. We're going to get back on track with publishing our episodes on our website. But this thing was a big distraction for November, December that we thought about 2 years ago, and we decided that it's time to finally launch it. And when I say 2 years ago, we literally like created the design for it and all of that. And so now when you go here, man, Andres did such a cool job making this with Vision Pros. Sorry, with AI. I'd prefer a faster intro, and one that doesn't take so long. But so yeah, what the heck? Now it's not even loading. It'll load in a minute though. There we go. Finally. So what we're doing, yes, Dr. Danny Hops the guest of the month every month. So it's okay on here. So we had to create rules, and we're going to create an award. Um, I'll give a shout out again to Podmatch. Podmatch does this where every single month they have it so well organized and executed to where they have the top 10 guests and the top 10 shows of the month. In fact, let's derail. Let's go take a look at podmatch.com. See if I can log in. It's using my team who does this. So if we go into the most amazing platform in the world, log into this and come in here, you can see that we're in the top 0.7% this month. I'm ranked number 34. And so probably partially ranked through here as a guest and probably mostly ranked as a host. Man, we made the top 10 hosting like almost 3 or 4 months out of the year in 2024. And then 2025, we spent a ton of time working on um, optimizing everything that we're up to and making sure we get even better. And so the this little list over here, it seems small and it seems like a tiny thing, but no, oh my gosh, like the infrastructure that it would take to build this out. I'm hoping that I can learn with my friend Alex, like how can I improve upon what it is I'm doing? And I know it's going to take some investment that I'm not quite ready to make. And I know that, and that's from terms of time and money. And we put some other great people on here like Chad Jenkins and Sharon Roth and Rachel Edmondson and Dr. Lance Knob. All these people are freaking phenomenal. And so we've mentioned them as the placeholders, but we've created materials as well to help make sure that the nominations and the nominees have materials to position themselves as best guests. And then we're going to do virtual and physical trophies for this, and we'll probably do a physical trophy the first time for like a yearly thing. Then we might do a monthly thing, but we may actually, I'm looking forward to building this up into being a full on gala experience. And so, this again, future podcasting, podcasts are going to continue to develop our industry in the same way that media and film and Emmys and Oscars and all that have for their industries as well. And we do have entities out there who are doing it at a scale where it's more of a more institutional, but I haven't seen many podcasts implement this type of strategy yet. And then we're tying this, as you saw on that page, we kind of sneak peek revealed it. We're building out a new community called First Class Podcasts. And the First Class Podcast community, we'll be connecting great guests with great hosts as well. So a lot of fun things to come with that, and a lot of pieces being built out. One of the final pieces that I'll share is I'm recording this in a studio that has what's called a universal ID link. And I'm really happy about that too. We should have implemented it a couple months ago. We just didn't take the time. I prioritized other things instead. But my team and I today during our level up calm down meeting, it's kind of like our back office lunch meeting where we're still productive, but we can even sometimes break out in karaoke or something and do something fun. But it allows for us to not dread Fridays. It allows for us to, once we come back from lunch, like we're like all centered and happy and ready to talk. And we're not allowed to talk about anything stressful or anything fire oriented. And then everybody ends the workday happy. Like goes off and finishes their stuff well because they didn't like, we're not trying to burn rubber going into our weekend. And it's a good time for me to also make sure that I can check in on the emotional pulse of my team members, because I want to go into Friday knowing that everybody's going to their work weekend happy. And then what that does is everybody wants to come back to work on Monday or Tuesday. In this case, my Columbia team will be on holiday on Monday, so come back on Tuesday. But everybody will come back that much more reinvigorated and ready to go and excited to work. So another secret for building out organizations, building a podcast. Oh my gosh, work on your infrastructure, build your team. It's a team process. Okay, so where was I? We were talking about First Class Podcasts and the network, and we were the change that we just made, the universal ID. So what are the biggest challenges that we've had, and I'm so grateful for a team for, is we had to create a new studio link for a long time because there wasn't a universal studio link. And that meant that we couldn't tie our studio link to our podcast bookings. We had to do it manually. And so that made a lot of back and forth, and it frustrated guests to the nth degree. And it did affect our reputation quite a bit because it's just hard to manage. We've got 3 different hosts, and some of those things cancel. And then trying to manage all of the chaos of reservations with that many people, like it was nuts. And so, we took a beating a little bit, and we probably deserved it. So it was a growing pain, but unfortunately, StreamYard launched this benefit 4 or 5 months ago, and I was so excited to implement it, but we just didn't have the time. So today, Danielle, I'll give her a shout out. She brought it up, and I was like, you know what, let's do it now. And we did it, and we got it implemented, and we got all the confirmation emails adjusted, and we got the link set up for Sue and myself, or the 2 co-hosts right now. We got to implement everything else. And that's where we came across the confirmation page. It was like, okay, time to upgrade the confirmation page too. And the next thing we'll be doing is creating the newsletter. Shout out to the accidental entrepreneur. Mitch runs a great show. I love his processes. And so I'm always intrigued. His emails always come out. Hey, the episode is out. And I always have to click to see who it is. It's like, just a really clean email to honor and represent his guests. And so we're using Mitch's materials to model that and say, you know what, we want to be a little bit more like Mitch, like the accidental entrepreneur, get our newsletter going and also get that announcement out, because that's one of the big pieces is distribution before and after the episode airs. It's not just about the moment the episode airs. It's actually about all the things that lead up to and all of the things that transpire after the fact. As soon as The Walking Dead has finished filming, they have tons of work to do to promote that same episode, even though they've seen it, even though they lived it for hours on end, and they're probably sick of it. It's like, you got to promote it thousands of times for millions of people to go watch it. And so the same thing exists with podcasting. I think this year there's going to be some massive movement in terms of distribution. And it's going to be really interesting to see how we all respond to that. Many of us who studied this manually for so long are also going to feel a little bit bitter about it. I think it's going to be bittersweet, where it's like, oh my gosh, finally. And like, where was this the last 12 years of our life as we built? And now a lot of the strategies and systems that we've created are becoming obsolete. But that's why the process of evolution is so important. That's why it's so important to continue to learn, and to see where else can we provide value and what else can we do. There is truly an never-ending opportunity, and I think it's escaping that American dream of like retiring and doing nothing that leaves people miserable and bored. So no, we don't want that. We do want to be progressive. We do want to learn new things, and so as an industry, there's still going to be plenty of things that we get to learn. But I think there's going to be some really, really big movements this year that are perhaps a bit unsettling for most people, and that are also good surprises for leaders who are ready to embrace the new reality. And so this year again, I think AI will help us crack certain distribution codes. And I think we'll start to see more mainstream implementation with AI of AI's capability of managing tasks. If you're a guru out there and you're like, oh, I know how to do all that, come and show us, man. Like we want you on Vision Pros. We want to see what's possible because moving beyond basic filtering in emails, for instance, for an AI to be able to, for me to be able to trust an AI to jump in and engage with correspondence. I don't think we're quite there yet. I haven't seen it yet. If you have, again, drop it in the comments. But I've seen a lot of people try to drop this stuff in the comments, and it turns out it's not really, what we were hoping for. But we're getting there, and so I am eager to see it and find it and implement it because if we can take as many tasks as possible off of the drowning entrepreneur and the drowning team members, then of course that frees them up to be able to do other things. And hopefully humans will choose to do great things with our time. Hopefully we'll step into things like building gardens. That would be cool. How many of you know how to garden, and have built a sustainable garden? I'm laughing with you. I'm not laughing at you. I haven't done that. I've got my marigold that's growing, but I would like to see not just myself. I'd like to be able to empower more people on earth to be able to spend more quality time doing the things that they love, expanding their spiritual well-being, their mental well-being, and their physical well-being. And in order to do that, we have to create systems that create sustainable revenues. And as we create more and more sustainable revenues for ourselves and for others, the more abundant we put ourselves in a position. Well, the more abundant we end up in life, the more likely that we can go about doing the things that are most important, like connecting with family, connecting with friends, um, producing results for our own bodies, and for those around us, and making this world a better place. So that's my hope, and that's my view of the immediate future of podcasting and what's on the horizon. And I hope that you guys all benefit tremendously from the different things that we talked about and looked at here. And if podcasting is something you want to explore, I also recommend being a guest on different podcasts. That could be a great way to explore whether you might want to do it or not. And know that you're going to get out of it what you put into it ultimately. That is pretty much I would say a pretty universal truth. You don't necessarily understand what you get out of it, but you may get a lot of education out of it initially. You may then get some profitability out of it. You may become wildly rich and handsome and successful or gorgeous as you do this. But I wish all the good things for you, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the future. Don't hesitate to reach out and ask for specific help or specific feedback. And of course, we're always open to specific feedback. And if you like, subscribe, share this with others who you think would value it, then of course, I would be greatly appreciative of that. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Thank you for being here today. I'm really happy that you tuned in to Vision Pros Live. I'm looking forward to seeing your reactions as these episodes continue to move forward. This is going to get more and more fun. We'll have more and more engagement as well. We'll invite people to participate in the show. And thank you for giving us your time and attention. Have an excellent time building out your vision and becoming a Vision Pro yourself.